Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
This is another Best Boys.
Oh, we're better than ever because we're the best boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Anyway, so, uh, movie for this week is Reservoir Dogs.
Yes, this one's a very exciting one. This is Quentin Tarantino's debut.
Oh, really?
Yes. I love this one. This is the tightest movie Tarantino has ever done.
Really?
Nice 100 minutes or so. It's really good. It is about a bank heist that goes wrong.
Okay. Well, I mean, normally I read it and then I come up with it, but okay, Joe.
Okay, yeah. Well, you can...
Yeah, 4 perfect killers, 1 perfect crime. Critically acclaimed for its raw power and breathtaking ferocity, it's the brilliant American gangster movie classic from writer-director Quentin Tarantino. They are perfect strangers assembled to pull off the perfect crime. Then their simple robbery explodes into a bloody ambush, and the ruthless killers realize one of them is a police informer. But which one?
Yeah.
So, so it's not called Reservoir Dogs 10 Years.
No,
this is just
this is the cover.
disc.
Yep.
The special edition one.
Yeah. This is the fancy one. Mine actually has a special Mr. White cover.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
No, you don't yet.
But,
yeah, no, this is a Tarantino film before he became Tarantino. So, like, a lot of just the, like, little oddities that he does aren't really present in this movie. He does do the trunk shot, though, which I really love.
the trunk shot.
Yeah. It's a Tarantino moment where all the characters look down at something on the ground, and then the camera's looking up at them, looking down at it.
You shoot me in a dream, you'd better wake up and apologize.
Yeah.
Alright, so this movie sounds pretty good. I like the Tarantino movies, so let's go ahead and pop this bad boy in the PlayStation 4, and then we will be back.
Yeah.
So that was Reservoir Dogs. Pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that might as well just be like one of the, like the little catchphrase of like this show. Just that was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I try to bring you guys the good stuff.
Yeah. No stinkers so far, Joe. This was another good one. So this is by Quentin Tarantino, whose movies I have seen before. I've seen Hateful Eight. I've seen Pulp Fiction. I have seen Reservoir Dogs. I've seen Kill Bill 1 and 2. I don't remember them at all. Oh God, what else did he make?
Okay, he's done Reservoir, Pulp. Then he screenwrited True Romance and Natural Born Killers. I love Natural Born Killers, but he disavowed it.
Why that? Did you just not like it?
He didn't see it. I mean, the movie just got taken from him. He sold the script whenever he needed money, and then Oliver Stone ended up directing. So he couldn't get the rights back. He did a short in a movie called Four Rooms. The movie was not good, but his short was nice. So I had to sit through that to get to his part. Kill Bill, he did Grindhouse with Robert Rodriguez, and he also did From Dusk Till Dawn. He wrote and starred in.
Okay.
Then Inglourious Django and Hateful. And right now, he is currently working on a Manson movie. Charles Manson.
Yep, that one is going to be really interesting.
Yes, I am excited for that.
Any idea when that one comes out?
No.
Did he just announced that he's working on it now?
Yeah, he's probably got the script done, so, like, he's just gonna finalizing some stuff. He's gotta get budget stuff, and it'll take a while to film and
I think it'll
finish.
be easy for him to get the budget he needs, considering his last movie had a forced blowjob scene.
Yeah. I mean, Hateful Eight didn't do amazing, but it was competing against Force Awakens. I don't know why they set it up like that.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
No, I mean, Tarantino's got the clout to do basically whatever he wants.
Yeah, so he actually starred in this movie.
Yeah.
As a pretty... I mean, he was in a lot of it for the beginning, and then about halfway through, he just kind of disappeared.
Oh, yeah, he's only in it for maybe 7 minutes of the whole movie.
Yeah, which is good. You don't want that to fucking... So, the intro scene is the whole group eating breakfast at some place.
Yeah, like a rip-off Denny's.
Yeah, like a shitty Denny's.
Yeah.
They didn't have the Hobbit breakfast meals.
Yeah, you mean even shittier Denny's?
If such a thing could exist.
Oh, it's hell and damnation, I tell you.
But they're on there. They're talking about songs from the 70s. During a lot of the transitions, they have a really, really shitty radio DJ going on there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do like that guy. They put him in on the soundtrack too. Yeah.
So in the soundtrack for the movie,
yeah, he'll transition in between songs and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he did that thing that I always like in his movies where dialogue repeats, where someone will go over a whole thing, and then someone will they'll end up repeating basically the entire thing once again to a different character who just sat back down or something like that.
Yeah.
And so the characters of the movie, there was Mr. White, Mr. Orange, Mr. Brown, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Pink, and Mr. Blue.
Yeah.
Am I missing anyone?
No. Nice Guy Eddie and Joe, but they weren't named as misters.
And then they're all just setting up a heist. They're going to go into this diamond store. They're going to fuck shit up. They're going to get the diamonds. They're going to get out in 2 minutes. Mr. Blonde ends up shooting a bunch of people because he's a fucking psychopath. And by the way, once again, spoilers for, anyone who's for some reason watching this and hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs yet because they're a dingle-donger like me.
Yeah. Whenever we cut out talking at the beginning, you gotta go watch the movie and then come back.
Yeah, that's like the whole gimmick thing. I should probably make it more clear. But, Mr. Orange ended up being the rat.
Yep.
And so the movie opens, it goes from that dinner scene to Mr. Orange and Mr. White drive in. Mr. Orange is fucking shot in the gut and he's bleeding out. Similar to another movie, a little bit of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, no, it's definitely similar in the... Yeah, he definitely repeated that, like, on purpose for the intro of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction was very similar to this movie.
Yep.
Both about people in crime shit, doing nasty, doing their undesirable activities.
Yeah. He ended up following it up with Jackie Brown, and people hated it back in the day because it was nothing like either movie.
I never saw Jackie Brown.
It's a good one. We could probably do it sometime on the podcast.
Yeah.
I think it's one of his better ones.
But they get to the warehouse and then eventually Mr. Pink shows up and they never show the actual heist as it goes down. You only hear it through like people saying like, what the fuck was he doing? Like, and then like trying to go over in their mind like, okay, we went in, held them up. Mr. Blonde started shooting after the alarm went off, and then the cops came. Cops shouldn't have come that fast. We were set up.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. I'm looking at the cast of characters, and I had... So there's 3 different things I was thinking. There's 3 different rats. There's number 1, it could be the guy who got shot. And he would... just because I don't believe it's Mr. White, he doesn't seem like the rat. It could be Mr. Pink because he brought it up. And then the third one, and this is the one I dismissed kind of early on, was that there was no rat, and it was going to end up with everyone getting, like, at each other's throats. But the cast was so small for this because Mr. Blue, Mr. Brown never even show up after the beginning. They're fucking... Oh, except for, like, a flashback.
Yeah.
But, like, we're left with 4, maybe 5 characters. And I think
pretty
that's
much
too small for there to not be a rat and to have everyone pointing guns at each other for an extended amount of time. Because I wasn't sure if that's how the movie was going to go until I'm like, okay, those 2 are dead. There's not going to be a lot of people coming in here. It's just going to be this small group. So then I kept bouncing back between Pink and Orange, and ended up being Orange. So I thought it was going to be Pink, but just because he stashed the diamonds, I thought that meant that like he just like got rid of the diamonds. So that's what I thought. But, yeah.
Well, actually, if you notice in the background, there is a coffin in the background for each main character.
Really?
Yeah. Because there's like a bunch of just like death stuff, like a hearse. That's what Mr. Blonde is sitting on, like a big hearse. And yeah, there's coffins in the background for all the main characters.
Nice, I didn't know that. So you get, if you're paying close attention, you can see, oh, there's 5 coffins here.
Yep.
All of these dudes are gonna die.
Yep, yeah, and then Mr. Pink gets away, but if you like pump up the volume way up in the very ending, you can hear him getting cuffed by the police and stuff. You can hear him that he got shot and now he's yelling.
Okay. See, I was wondering because I was listening really close. I'm like, am I going to hear his tires squealing? Am I going, what's going to go on here?
Yeah, you got to pump it way up.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, but yeah, it's really great that they never showed the diamond heist. I mean, they did that as a deliberate choice, but they also had no budget for that. I mean, they had to have people donate the suits in the movie.
Yeah, because this movie I was looking at it came out in the '92 Sundance Film Festival, and holy shit! If I made a movie and I'm like, oh guys, I made this, I made this short movie. It's called Mr. Billoway's Castle of Sadness.
Yeah,
And then it's like, whoa, okay, that got pushed back. Well, for this Reservoir Dogs movie, well, who cares about that? And Reservoir Dogs just basically takes a shit in your movie's mouth. Like, that's when you just stop. You just stop making movies. You're done.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to think. I think Clerks was a little bit earlier. I think that was 90 even.
And that was in the Sundance as well?
Yeah.
Because Clerks was good. I liked Clerks.
Yeah, Clerks was like filmed with nothing. They couldn't even afford color film.
Yeah, it was in black and white. Was that just because they could? That was
Oh
the
yeah,
only camera
they
had?
didn't have money.
Huh.
So I mean once you go black and white, you like angle it correctly, and then you get the lighting so it looks nice. But yeah, I mean that was just a money choice.
Yeah, that's odd. Just like his grandpa had a black and white camera.
Black and white's much cheaper than color film.
Why? Oh, because it had to be an actual film, right?
Yeah, it was actual. So yeah,
That's right. Yeah. No digital camera work until like I don't know 2000s.
Yeah. I mean the Star Wars prequels are the first major thing to be shot on digital. I mean they look like garbage.
Yeah.
I mean digital wasn't really starting to be taken seriously until probably 2010ish.
Yeah, but as the movie progressed, it would look at each of the main characters, hop back in time, look back at like Mr. White would have a long extended scene, and then like where there was the camera shut down a hallway, you could hear Mr. Pink like freaking out. Mr. White standing there kind of relatively calmly. He's the only one in the shot. Mr. Pink is kept out of it. Then right after that, we look at where Mr. White started. He's meeting with Joe. Joe's offering him the thing, and I really like that. They each person had their own kind of scene, and then it jumped to them, or they had their whole scene, and then it jumped back to them, like with Mr. Blonde, where he showed up.
Yeah.
And then, or like he had his whole scene, and then he showed up, and it continued his bullshit, and then it went to Mr. Orange after that. I think.
Yeah.
Wait, did they have a Mr. Pink scene where he got
No,
recorded?
only the shootout with the cops.
Okay. So I was thinking, I've just realized now because he didn't get one.
Nope.
Mr. Orange was really well. Mr. Orange was the rat, and so you saw him, reciting his lines and then giving it to. I liked how they handled that, where he was telling the story. He was unsure of it at first, and then progressively he got better and more comfortable with it. Would cut in and out of the scene with where he was telling it and all that. That was a fun one. I like that one.
Yeah. Oh, now if you notice at the very beginning, Mr. Orange is the one who rats out Mr. Pink for not leaving a tip.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Blonde's scene was pretty crazy, where they left to go move the cars outside. The police didn't know where they were, and then Mr. Blonde's in there and he takes out a razor blade, just starts cutting the cop.
Oh yeah, it's a heavy
off.
torture scene.
It's pretty, because like I was sitting there, I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Is he just gonna fucking mutilate the dude? Is there a reason why? Is it just because he's a psychopath?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got like a cop tied up, I mean, if you got a razor, I mean, you gotta put it in him a little bit.
Was there any real symbolism behind the colors that they went with?
You mean just kind of like the warehouse gray and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, that that's basic color theory, where it's just like, I mean, like Mr. Orange being the rat.
Oh, I haven't heard anything like that.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe he just chose like Mr. Blonde. Blonde is a kind of a weird color choice when you have pink, white, brown, blue.
Yeah.
And then you have blonde.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of points out as him being different than the rest.
Maybe.
Which like a little hint, like, hey, this dude's a little bit fucking out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Well, actually, in the torture scene, whenever the cop is like begging for his life and he says he has kids, that actually like visibly shakes up Manson, and like you kind of had to stop the scene for a second.
Manson was playing Mr. Blonde.
Yeah. It's I think Michael Madsen. He comes back in Hateful Eight, like 20 years on.
As
25.
Joe?
Yeah, Joe Gage.
Joe Gage.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Tim Roth is back too as the Hangman.
When the Hangman gets you, you don't
Gonna
die.
hang. No, that's Kurt Russell.
Oh.
The actual Hangman of.
The British guy.
Yeah, the British guy.
Okay. Yeah, because like their faces looked a little familiar.
Yep.
You mentioned earlier the Mr. Orange's friend, the black police officer, was going to be Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah,
like,
it
words,
was. It just couldn't get done in time, and they had already cast the actor. But he came back in Pulp Fiction, and history was made.
Yep. But yeah, the Mr. Blonde scene where he was just cutting the dude up, dousing him in gasoline, about to light him on fucking fire.
Yeah.
I was getting, and I actually wonder if this is a reference to that. In Hitman Blood Money, the first tutorial mission is you're going on like a carnival thing, and one of the scenes is the dude, like, as you walk past, is like cutting a police officer up and doused him with gasoline.
Oh, I'm
so
almost sure that's
fire.
I'm pretty. I would bet that's a Reservoir Dogs reference.
Yep, because it was in like a dusty area with like it was a dusty, dark like theater. There was a piano covered in a sheet, similar to how the hearse was in this movie.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was probably that.
Yeah, because I mean, Hitman's like very early 2000s, so it'd still be at the forefront.
Yeah, because this came out in 92.
Yep.
But yeah, that ear scene was, whew. There was one thing that kind of threw me off with it, and I feel like they could have easily done, like, fixed this. And so when the guy gets his ear cut off, you're able to see the side of his head, and it looks like, like if you cut a pomegranate in half.
Yeah,
you know? But there's no like blood coming down from it.
No. I mean, I think that was like partly budget stuff, and then partly I don't know if like the gasoline would have anything to do with it, but
so they did douse him with like legit gasoline.
Well, no, but I mean in the scene, like maybe the gasoline just kind of messed with the blood, like maybe the blood wasn't able to come out.
Maybe something like that. Yeah, I could see that affecting it, but like
I think you get a little blood, but probably not enough for an ear cutting off.
Yeah, because like his face had a lot of blood and stuff like that. But I mean, blood's not that expensive, is it? Really?
The good blood costs some cash, but
it could be that. It could be that he really sprung for the good blood, because like.
Oh yeah, no.
And they probably had
Tim Ross like blood effects are amazing. They had an actual paramedic on set to make it look like he was actually bleeding out in scene by scene by scene to make it look like natural, and like. Basically, the blood mixture was so thick all over him and his clothes, he got stuck to the ground every single day like a pancake, and they had to just, like, rip him off the ground.
Yeah, because I really like that touch with Mr. Orange, where he's on, he's on the ramp, which, well, all right, so another cutaway
it's not
to
a great
ear.
Person to put, like, a dying person on. Just like a cement ramp.
Yeah, like, he's cutting the dude's ear off, and it pans to the left and says, "Watch your head."
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, the blood makeup on the faces looked really, really good. I imagine they probably had to do it multiple times for every scene.
Oh yeah.
Because it might have run or something because everyone was dirty and sweaty.
You can notice a little bit of like inconsistency on the police officer's face with the blood if you look hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean that's just gonna naturally happen if you're not like a stickler about that.
I expected the officer to be Stankiewicz, the dude, the Mr. Blonde's parole officer.
Yeah. Seymour Stagnetti. That is actually a Natural Born Killers reference. Stagnetti is a prison warden in that movie.
Oh, he's a prison warden?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's like his brother. There's a lot of brothers in the Tarantino universe. Because Vic Vegas and Vincent Vegas from Pulp Fiction are brothers. And Tarantino wrote a script about them. It's a prequel kind of movie about them like just hanging out as brothers before they both die in each of their movies. But then the actors got too old. Too old
to do it reasonably.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, no, these guys are definitely 22 years old.
Yeah,
and they're walking around with geriatrics and shit.
Yeah, they got wheelchairs. And poor John Travolta's just like spouting off about like how like ghosts are like living inside his alien brain and he has to donate money.
Scientology to get fixed. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Also, what was a commode again? Because he said that was like a commode story. Okay, it's just a fancy name for a shitter.
Yep, yeah, the poop hole. But not the poop hole on your body, the poop hole in the toilet.
Okay.
Yep.
The toilet, we just call those like a normal toilet. You don't have to give them like a fancy name.
Yeah. Like the mud squelcher.
Yeah, but the end scene, Mr. White feels guilty for getting Mr. Orange shot because they were running from the cops, pulled a gun on a lady in a car. She shot Mr. Orange right in the gut with a tiny little pistol. And, so, then that's when they were driving in the car to the safe house. And so Mr. White's keeping an eye on Mr. Orange the entire time. And, the very last scene, Joe comes in, figures out that this dude's the rat, and is about to shoot him. You know, they're put into a 3-way Mexican standoff. Everyone gets shot. White sits with Orange as they're both dying. Orange tells him, "Oh yeah, I was a cop," and then White shoots him. Maybe.
No,
White maybe shoots him.
He definitely got shot, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could be a real Star Wars scenario. Who shot first, the police or Mr. White?
Well, that's the thing. Whenever you look at it frame by frame, nobody knows who shot Nice Guy Eddie. The bullet, he gets hit slightly before Mr. White can turn around to shoot him. That's just because the squib went off a second too early.
The squib?
Yep. That's what they call it whenever you see a shot and blood comes off of the body. That's normally a blood squib. It's basically a tiny little, explosive that's attached to you, and then it shoots out blood, kind of.
Did you guys get any of those for Butcher the Bakers?
Oh, absolutely not.
Are they very expensive?
They're expensive, but you need to be licensed in order to legally use them, because they are explosives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's something you should probably get working on, because those are really nice.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Squibs look amazing.
Yeah, but, and then, the final scene, I noticed as I was watching, I'm like, this is very close to how The Hateful Eight ended, where they're both sitting there.
Yep, bleeding out.
Yep, right next to each other, bleeding out, and then dying. And then you said that there was some serious controversy about this final scene.
Yeah, it's two major scenes. So basically, there's a 1987 Hong Kong movie called City on Fire. Tarantino never acknowledged it until later on, but basically the scene where Mr. White shoots up the cops in the moving police van is extremely similar to a scene in City on Fire where one of the main characters shoots up a police van. And then the end of City on Fire also ends in a three-way Mexican standoff. So basically, and also the plots of the movie are pretty similar. It's about, a rat in the police force.
Yeah.
On, kind of like a robbery. Tarantino did say that he was inspired by it. I think, the plot is a little, close. But I'd give him a pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fun idea for a movie. It's kind of like how, in, Eastern and Western cultures, we both have dragons.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, this is a really fun idea.
Yeah, a big flapping thing like a lizard.
It's just a natural conclusion, oh, well, hey, they got all these, we have these heist movies. What about when a heist goes wrong? And then mentally kind of extrapolate from there, and then boom, that's where you get the movie.
Yeah.
Why did it go wrong? Oh, there's a police rat in their group. Okay, well, how are they going to go about figuring that out? What's going to happen there? Blah, 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 blah. There you go. You got your movie.
Yeah.
That's all it takes to make a movie. That's literally all that movie making is.
Yeah, exactly. Every single morning, I basically shut out a new movie. I just say, oh, I think fidget spinners should be people. And then we've got a brand new movie.
Yeah, they live in the world of the Fidgy-verse.
Exactly, and there's a little boy named Lil Johnny Fidgy, and, he's having nightmares about thumbs coming to flick him, and so he goes on a magical quest to Nowhere Land, and then he's gotta
get the golden ball bearing.
He's gotta find the ball bearing in his heart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe the true fidget spinner was the fidget spinner in our heart.
Yeah.
Shit. I actually don't know the structure of a human heart, but I assume there's a fidget spinner-like thing with your arteries where it's spinning around.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Contact your local cardiologist and ask him about the heart fidget spinner.
Well, see if you can get your heart replaced by a fidget spinner because they're hot.
Oh, dude, that would be sick.
Yep. I mean, if you tell him old Joe Buck sent you, 5% off for you, 10% for me.
Yep. Joe gets 10% kickback on every fidget spinner heart surgery transplant.
Yeah.
And think about this: old heart, put it on like a dinner plate. It's like a fidget spinner.
Exactly. Well, my fidget spinner movie is going to be a little bit different than most children's movies, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically the main character has been graphically molested by his father for most of his life, so he's going to have to overcome that with song and dance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also fidget spinners.
Yes.
Yeah, he's stuck. You hold a fidget spinner. He did that to his butt.
Exactly, and that ain't no way to treat a little boy fidget spinner.
No, it is not, Joe.
Nope.
Anyway, so I want to bring up one thing. I almost forgot to bring this up, but at the start of the movie, as we're going through the opening credits, you told me how you were watching a video on Pornhub last night.
Yes.
About a lady throwing up, puking, and then shaving. What was with that, Joe?
Yeah, so it wasn't on Pornhub. It was on Motherless. That's an even nastier site. And see, like, I was just like searching through different things, and then I came across it was called like Lady Pukes Then Shaves, and I was like,
oh man, did you were wondering what that?
Yeah,
what that
yeah, I watched
consisted
see
of?
what that is. So she's gagging on a dildo and going like,
Why
and
did
she's
I ask
throwing,
this?
yeah, she's throwing up, she's getting all the throw up all over her like legs and pussy area.
Why did I do this?
And then she starts scooping up the vomit with her hands and rubbing it all over her pussy area, and then taking shaving cream and rubbing that in too, and then she shaves. And it's just kind of like a nice little video.
Honestly, I have no idea I don't know what I fucking expected to come out of that. I should have known better than to remind you that you said that, Joe.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, everybody watches different things.
Some of us watch good movies like Reservoir Dogs.
Exactly.
Any last things you want to say about the movie? Anything that we might have missed that you want to bring up before we go ahead and end this episode?
Well, I mean, some people hate Tarantino's acting. I've liked him in everything he's done. I mean, even Django, he's pretty funny.
Yeah, a lot of racial slurs in his movies too.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he deals with criminals, and I mean, criminals are gonna say nasty things.
Yeah, they're not gonna be nice, prim, and proper.
Yeah, exactly. They're not gonna be shuffling the latrines.
Shuffling the
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but this movie...
That's whenever you wash your hands after taking nasty mud.
So my ranking scale for these movies right now is it goes from Brazil to Old Boy, and I would rank this higher than Old Boy, but now lower than Brazil. So there's your little thing there.
Okay. Do you give it 7 tads out of 10?
I give it 2 monster cans out of 3.
Oh, yeah. I like the green monster because it makes me not sleep.
That's Joe, there's a lot of reasons why you can't sleep. Mostly because you're on motherless.com.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's just like a website where your mother's not allowed.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
Yeah.